The following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it's for the PCW Tag Team Championship! Coming down the aisle, your PCW Tag Team Champions, the men of 2000 holds, Natal and Steve!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 34 of Podcast Championship Wrestling, hosted by your podcast tag team champions of the world, the men of 2000 holds, Natal and Steve. How you doing today, Steve?
I'm good. I'm pumped. We got wrestling coming up at the end of the week.
Yeah, we have a live event, guys. We are super pumped. We're going to MSG. It is Daniel Bryan night.
Yeah, whatever that means. Who cares?
I think he's going to be there. We're going to be able to throw some yeses up in the air. I guess we're going to just relive his glory days, or he's just going to win the title. Who knows?
Yeah, but it's going to be fun. Live events are always fun. It was one of those things where, like, I really kind of didn't care. It was like, I'm not going to get tickets. And then they were like, yeah, Daniel Bryan. And like, oh, we're getting tickets.
Yeah, we're getting tickets.
So now I'm really excited that it's coming up.
That's great for me because I've never seen Daniel Bryan live. You know, I'll never, unfortunately, will ever see him perform.
But you get to do like a yes chant with him.
Yeah, with him, and hear the Fly to the Valkyrie song and all that fun stuff. Yeah, so it's going to be exciting, and we'll definitely give you guys a recap of that next week. Yeah. We got ahead of ourselves this week. That's how excited we are to talk about wrestling. But before we talk about any more wrestling, if you want to contribute in any way, shape, or form to this podcast, the So Says Natal podcast, yes, it's still alive, and the Fight Your Rival podcast, email me at sosaysnatal@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at SoSaysNatal1, Facebook.com/SoSaysNatal, Instagram.com/SoSaysNatal. And don't forget, you can find all three podcasts on SoundCloud and iTunes. And if you're on iTunes, don't forget, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Tell everyone. We greatly appreciate it. It helps us, helps the algorithm so we could get up on the charts. Yeah, I used a big word. Everyone else uses that word, so I might as well use it. Algorithm. It helps the algorithm. So do that. Thank you very much. So with all that out of the way now, let's get back into some wrestling. We're skipping NXT SmackDown this week. There really isn't much to report, per se, so we're going right into Raw. Monday Night Raw. Yeah. We're still on the road to WrestleMania. We're about 13 days away.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think there's one more Raw before WrestleMania.
Yeah, which is nuts. You know, big thing on SmackDown this week. Lesnar is going to show up on SmackDown, and Ambrose is going to go and confront him. But that's later on this week.
Yeah, but that's cool. It's Brock Lesnar. He's a big name. They don't use it. You know, they try not to burn his dates up because he's on a very limited schedule. So him showing up on SmackDown is a big deal. And
it's cool because it, again, gives SmackDown a little bit more of that big deal flavor, which has been a continuous thing since it's moved to the USA Network, because it'll, I hope, not maybe drastically, but slowly continue the story between Ambrose and Lesnar.
Yeah, I agree. But wasn't the last time he was advertised for SmackDown, wasn't he on it, like, super short? He just, like, walked by the camera and, like, nodded, and that was it? Like, that was his
something
big
like that. Yeah, it wasn't really all that much of an appearance. It was more of a peer than an appearance.
Yeah, hopefully it's, something else to push the Ambrose Lesnar story, because it was kind of one-sided this week because Lesnar wasn't there.
Yeah, he wasn't there. But before we go into Lesnar and Ambrose, let's talk about AJ and Chris Jericho. Okay. Last time we really spoke about them, they were Y2AJ. The men of 2000 hosts did not like the whole Y2AJ thing. No. The shirt was stupid. Everything was dumb.
And Chris Jericho agreed.
And he agreed, yeah. Remember, they fought the New Day. They lost. Chris Jericho attacked him. Chris Jericho straight heel, hates Canadians. Jack Swagger came to save Canada and lost to Jericho in Canada. And now we're getting this whole thing back and forth between both of them right now.
Yeah, and I think it's cool. I'm excited just because, like, we've seen them wrestle a couple times now, but Jericho's straight up heel this time around. You know, before it was like still kind of like two baby faces wrestling each other. And now it's a completely different dynamic. It's WrestleMania, so it's a big stage. So I'm excited to see them wrestle again, even though we've seen them wrestle a few times before. It's not like Del Rio and Kalisto where it's like, I'm kind of tired of this matchup. Like, I'm not really tired of this matchup yet. So I'm excited for it. The progression this week was all right. You know, them kind of taunting each other.
I loved it, and piggybacking on what you said, exactly. When Jericho and AJ first started wrestling, it was like, I'm a seasoned wrestler, welcome to the big leagues, kid, let's see what you got. And like you said, now Jericho's a heel now, which is a testament to how great Chris Jericho is. That's why I love Chris Jericho. He's so fantastic. And like you said, with them taunting each other, it started on SmackDown. AJ was fighting Kevin Owens on SmackDown. Jericho's music hit in the middle of the match. AJ got distracted. Kevin Owens got the pin. And then on Raw, same thing pretty much happened, but this time Chris Jericho came out saying, AJ Styles. AJ Styles.
Yeah, like taunting him.
Yeah, which I thought was good, which distracted him to end up losing. And then Jericho had a match later on in the night against Fandango.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought it was great because he's losing mind. He said Fandango never beat him at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great.
Yeah, that was fun. He was like verbally assaulting, what was it, Cole?
Yeah.
I think. Like, that never happened.
Nope, that never happened.
He was good. He was just loud, bad guy Jericho. And then, AJ Styles comes out and does the same thing to Jericho. But Jericho's actually able to win his match.
Yeah, he
beat
wins.
Fandango.
Yeah. Well, you better not lose to Fandango.
Yeah, seriously. At this point, nobody can lose to Fandango.
But it pretty much ends with them staring at each other, and AJ's like, you know what? I haven't had my big match yet, and point to WrestleMania, and we're pretty much going to get AJ Jericho at Mania. But like Steve said earlier, we're okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. That's a really good thing, because we both like those competitors. Also, a side note real quick, since we're talking about AJ Styles, if you guys didn't know, the Styles Clash is no longer allowed in the WWE. It's banned.
Yeah, the move's it's too risky.
It's too risky, yeah. I'm even like with the size of the different wrestlers, it's not something he could pull off every match.
Yeah, he can't pull it off on everybody, and I think he's hurt people before with it, like I've read. So I mean, it's a cool looking move, I'm not like upset that he's not allowed to do it.
Same here.
Because I don't ever want to see anybody get like seriously hurt while watching wrestling. I think the whole story they had before leads into this feud really good, because before it was about respect. Now it's like they really don't like each other. So I'm enjoying this. I mean, it's not like this super heated, great feud, but it's solid right now, and it's something
it's believable.
Yeah,
it has substance behind it. We're so used to current WWE stories where there isn't really much back history, like Ryback versus Kalisto.
It's like, what? Oh, you're small, I'm big, I want that. Yeah, that's basically that.
Yeah, like that's the story. This is better than the popcorn with Owens and Ambrose, you know. So this is why it's something, you know, really excited to look forward to. So yeah, Jericho, AJ at Mania, bring it. We're pumped. We're excited.
Yeah, I am excited.
Who you want to win? Because, I mean, AJ technically has the win, because out of the 3 falls, he won, he won twice.
I mean, I guess I want AJ Styles to win. As much as I love Chris Jericho, at this point, it's like Chris Jericho doesn't need it, and Styles needs it in the WWE. And since I'm a fan of both of theirs, I would want AJ to win. It'd be cool if Jericho got it in some like fluky way where Styles looks good, because I mean, Jericho has no problem putting people over. I can't remember the last time he won at a WrestleMania 26 maybe was the last time he won.
Jesus, and this is supposed to be the biggest WrestleMania of all time, AT&T Stadium, biggest world record. You know, so hopefully Jericho does get the win. But I agree with you. Jericho gets the win, then they're tied up again. You know, if this feud keeps going, then I'm okay with that. But if like the feud ends at WrestleMania and it ends in a tie and like wins and losses, that would be kind of upsetting for me.
Well, then hopefully AJ wins, because since WrestleMania is such a big event, like I kind of like when feuds end at WrestleMania. Yeah. I don't really like when they
continue on after.
Yeah, WrestleMania should be like a punctuation, not a comma.
You don't want it to end at like Capital Punishment or some other random pay-per-view.
Yeah, some other random thing that they decided to throw on afterwards.
Well, since you want that feud to end at WrestleMania, I hope this one ends at WrestleMania, and we have to stop calling it WrestleMania and turn it into KO Mania, because we have to talk about our man, the current Intercontinental Champion of the WWE, Kevin Owens, and what is going on with him and his WrestleMania match and the IC title. KO Mania is looking like Crap-O-Mania right about now.
Yeah, what it turned into is kind of like, it's obviously not what we wanted. I mean, we wanted Owens and Zayn, and wanted the U.S. title to be like the attraction match. Obviously, the IC title is. The way they got there, I thought was kind of funny.
It's a bad situation, but I think Kevin Owens, because being as great as he is, made the best of bad situation. He made that lemonade.
Yeah, he did. And I just thought the setup was really cool. How you know, he won his match against AJ Styles, so then Dolph and Miz and Sami Zayn all come out, basically staking their claim to the IC title. Owens is just like, let's have a triple threat match, and the winner will be the #1 contender for my title at KO Mania. So I was, you know, a part of me was hoping there wouldn't be a swerve where it would lead to something. It's like, oh, like if Sami Zayn wins this.
Yeah, that's what I first thought.
Yeah, it'd be cool. We'd have that. Throw Ziggler and Miz in like the Andre Battle Royal. Like, we'd be fine with that. And, you know, Owens goes to Steph, asks for the match. He's like, yeah, it's a good idea. So he comes back later to book the match. And you figure it's going to be the 3 people mentioned before. But
obviously.
But instead it's, Stardust, Sin Cara, and...
Zack Ryder.
Yeah, and Zack Ryder.
My favorite. Woo, woo, woo. I was just happy to see Zack Ryder.
Yeah, it was cool. And I also like the way he played it, where, you know, he talks about, like, oh, the first guy is, you know, WWE's like biggest star, and
he's such a star. He has it in his name.
Yeah, and you figure he's talking about The Miz, and then it's Stardust who comes out, and then talks about a man who's journeyed and wrestled in a mask, and you think, oh, well, he's talking about Sami Zayn.
Yep.
And no, Sin Cara comes out, and then the journeyman who dresses, what is it? Like a 30-year-old man who dresses like a 19-year-old boy.
Yes.
Like, that's Dolph Ziggler. Like, nope, Zack Ryder comes out. Like, I thought each misleading comment he said was really funny, and it worked really well. And unfortunately, that turned into just complete garbage with, Miz, Dolph, and Zayn coming out. Everybody's now upset. Everybody's fighting everybody. And now all those people we mentioned are fighting Kevin Owens in a ladder match for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, all thanks to Stephanie McMahon. And Kevin Owens, shooting himself in the foot. If you would have just had those three guys in the beginning, this wouldn't have happened. So like I said, lemon into lemonade. I don't like the fact that there's 7 people in a match with a ladder for the IC title. Come on, this is not the Money in the Bank. Give the IC title more credit than that.
Yeah, it's because they made Money in the Bank of pay-per-view, so they needed a spectacle match.
Which is a shame. But, like you said, I wish it was the U.S. title. Yeah. But, Kevin Owens is going to win because Kevin Owens is the man.
I really hope Kevin Owens wins.
If Sami Zayn wins, at least, okay, I'll be fine with that. But I'd rather Sami Zayn win it just straight from Kevin Owens, not because there were 6 other people there.
Yeah, and with a story behind it, where like when he wins it means exactly. Well, so it means something, not just like, all right, cool, he gets to hold the title over his head at WrestleMania. And it's like, yeah, it's a WrestleMania crowd, so it'll be a pretty decent pop because there's a lot of fans like us at WrestleMania, but it's not going to be more than that because he hasn't been built up at all yet. Like, it's cool for us, but the casual person doesn't really know who Sami Zayn is yet, so I don't want to see him win the title when he's that character right now.
And the other 5, we definitely don't want to see him win the title either.
No, I don't want a single one of them.
So it sucks. It's like a throwaway match in the middle of WrestleMania, but it's with Kevin Owens and the IC title, but I think it's going to be a good match.
Oh, yeah, well, it'll be a spectacle. Yeah. And the people in it, they'll be able to do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, they'll do some stuff. I wonder what ladder. I can only imagine what they're going to do. But that's pretty much what's going on right now with KO Mania and the Intercontinental title. Well, I guess we got 13 days to see, what exactly happens with it.
Yeah, we'll see what I kind of wonder what they're going to do next week on Raw. If it's just going to be like a little throwaway talking segment or something, because I mean, the match has been announced, but now how do you build to a match with 7 people?
I don't know. I guess maybe they all keep bumping into Kevin Owens in the back and he has a little quick words with each and every one of them. That would be fantastic. Or maybe the next couple of SmackDowns and Raws, they're just going to have those competitors wrestling against one another in singles competition or tag competition.
Yeah, I bet you in SmackDown they'll have throwaway 6-man tag matches.
Yeah, they'll have 3-on-3. Like these are the original 3 that were going to fight Owens versus the new 3 that are going to jump
Owens in on commentary.
That's how they'll pretty much
there you go, book it.
Done. We got it. Signed, sealed, delivered. There you go. You're welcome, WWE. All right, let's get off the whole KO Mania. And let's talk about... I don't me either, but, we got to. So, let's talk about good old Vince McMahon, the chairman of the WWE, the boss, God himself of the WWE Universe. And he got some news for us. So, he came out and he was doing some talk. And long story short, he agreed with Shane McMahon that Undertaker is his bitch. And if Undertaker... if Undertaker doesn't beat Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, then that would be the last WrestleMania ever. That's a career-ending match for The Undertaker.
Yeah, which is a pretty big stipulation to add to the match. So it makes for more intrigue because, storyline-wise, the company's on the line, but now Undertaker's career is on the line. It was a big announcement, but Undertaker wasn't there. Shane wasn't there. It wasn't even like the closing segment. Vince came out and basically spouted off nothing and then just dropped that big bombshell and then just kind of walked away. And Dean Ambrose came out to make his entrance for the main event match against Braun Strowman. Yeah. Nothing against Dean Ambrose, but
anything.
Yeah, anything done.
But yeah, that's gonna happen, and it's interesting. It does throw a wrench in the mix because before I was like, hey, I think story wise, we mentioned this last week's podcast. Hypothetically, if they actually go with the whole Shane thing, then I'm fine with Undertaker losing at Mania. But now I'm really not fine with Taker losing Mania at all because really, I don't want him to end his career to Shane McMahon. I'd rather him stop wrestling on his own accord, not because he's forced to. That would be really upsetting. Not only did he lose at WrestleMania and lose his streak, but now he's at WrestleMania. His career is over. It wouldn't sit well with me. So like now, I want Taker to win.
Yeah, me too. I want him to go on to next year's WrestleMania and fight the guy behind you.
No, I already know who's behind me.
It's the Boogeyman.
Is it the Boogeyman?
Yeah, well, no, now it's Booker T.
Okay,
But I want to see how they can fight Boogeyman at WrestleMania.
Okay, I thought behind me was Mr. Apple Juice.
Oh, no Apple Juice. I'd be speeding through his match.
All right, good. Yeah, Boogeyman, Undertaker, Boogeyman. I want to see that.
Hell yeah, I want to see that entrance. I don't really want to see the match, but I want to see both their entrances.
I want to see, and I want Bray Wyatt as the guest referee since they ain't doing anything with him now. That'll be his WrestleMania moment. The referee had a Taker match. Well, no, he fought Taker.
I think that would be great. And what should happen is once they all get to the ring, they kind of like nod and then they all walk away.
Yeah.
They don't need to fight.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, they're all dead. They've already been on to the other side like Aerosmith. All right. So let's get off this Aerosmith talk and let's get back into Monday Night Raw. And it's a topic we have to mention.
Do we?
Yeah, we do, because it's important, I guess, to the WWE and everything, their machine that they're pushing. They think it is,
with what it got this week.
They think it is. They think, hey, boos are better than silence. No matter who they're booing, no one gets pops anymore. And we're talking about Triple H and Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Basically, Stephanie was talking crap about Roman Reigns putting hands on Triple H, and Roman Reigns came out and stopped her from slapping him. A bunch of blah, blah, blah. And he's like, the reason why your husband ain't out here this week is because I beat him up. And Steph was all nervous for some reason about Roman Reigns, which can't have security. Like, seriously? You're the queendom, where the kings bow down, and you got gold chains and you rock them and you don't have security that can help you with Roman Reigns. So you get nervous and call your husband and he comes and picks you up, and then Roman Reigns comes out of the parking garage and just beats her husband up and just beats up Triple H.
She doesn't trust anyone, more than her husband, and that's all it really was too. It's just like a couple punches, threw him into the car, like no big deal. That's really all that's happened the last couple of weeks. It's just, I mean, granted, it was a bigger beatdown last week, but just like two little beatdowns between Reigns and Triple H, and then that's it.
It doesn't really feel big. It doesn't feel. I really.
It's for the title.
It's for the title. Yeah.
We had the opening segment, and Reigns talking about, I'm going to get my championship back, and the crowd didn't even really react to that. I think the biggest thing with this feud coming out of it is it's 2 consecutive weeks now where Roman Reigns is coming down from the ramp.
Exactly. I was going to say, that's the biggest news. That's the bigger than WrestleMania. That's bigger than Roman Reigns wrestling Triple H at WrestleMania. Is the fact that Roman Reigns has finally found the gorilla position. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing. It's only taken him almost 2 years after the Shield broke up?
Something like that. And the Shield were together for two years, give or take?
So he finally found it after about 4 years on the roster. So good for him. He found Gorilla.
I wonder if he's back then. He's like, this place is crazy. Look at this.
He's like, I didn't know. Look at these hors d'oeuvres. He's like, look at this.
He's like, look at all these bottles of water I could have been pouring on my head. I bought all the other ones.
Yeah. Waiting at the concession stand. Whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, that's very big. I wonder how his WrestleMania entrance is going to change now that he walks through, that he doesn't walk through the crowd anymore. That's probably why they changed it. They're like, at Mania, you can't walk through the crowd at AT&T Stadium. You know how long that'll take? We have to get them used to walking you through the gorilla and down the ramp.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it is. Mm-hmm. It's just, maybe they'll have actual people and he'll just walk on actual people.
I could see that. No, forget Roman Reigns. What is Triple H going to be? Last time he was a Terminator.
Yeah, they're not doing any kind of movie crossover sponsorship stuff this year, right? No, so,
not that I could think of.
Yeah, so what is he going to do?
Maybe he'll come out as half Batman, half Superman, like Prince did when he did that Batman video where he was half Joker, half Batman.
Oh, I could see that. No. Maybe there'll be a giant shield and Triple H will rip it in half.
I could totally see that. Well, whatever Triple H chooses, it's going to be amazing, and it's going to be the greatest part
love it no matter
of WrestleMania. I'll love it regardless. But we wish we had more to tell you. We wish we were a little more excited for the world title match at WrestleMania, but unfortunately, we're not.
I'm really not.
Luckily, we have other stuff on the card to look forward to, though.
Yeah, and hopefully, when the match comes around, it'll at least be watchable.
Mm-hmm. Well, the same thing happened with Lesnar Reigns. At first, I was like, I don't care because it was Reigns, but I thought they were entertaining for what they had until Seth Rollins came in and stole the show. But I still enjoyed it. I was like, it was actually better than I expected.
Oh, it was totally better than I expected, but because the story they told was great. It was just Lesnar was dominating, and then when Reigns was making the miraculous comeback, Seth Rollins was able to be opportunistic. It was just a really good story.
Yeah, I think that's why I like it. I like the Cena Lesnar matches because Lesnar's just
a
Decimating. Yeah, John Cena. It's fantastic. I love it.
But you can't do that with Triple H and Reigns, you know? You can't have Triple H being the super dominant animal over... I mean, he doesn't even, like, tower or isn't as imposing as a Brock Lesnar is to Reigns. So just physically, you can't tell that story. So it'll be interesting to see what they have.
And since we're already talking about Brock Lesnar, let's close up Monday Night Raw and let's get on some Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose at a street fight. It's looking really good. Dean Ambrose was cutting a lot of promos in Cincinnati recently because SmackDown last week was in Cincinnati, which was his hometown.
Yeah, they were cool promos, too.
They were very cool promos. If you guys didn't see them, check them out. They're all over the interwebs on WWE.com. You know where to find that stuff if you're a wrestling junkie like us. Yeah. But he had another promo on Monday Night Raw, and this time Terry Funk found him in a bar and gave him a chainsaw. That's the cliff notes of the thing. And I was like, there you go, my man, Chainsaw Charlie. Still got that chainsaw from when he had that stocking over his head. And I was like, that's Terry Funk, and you're trying to sell him to me as Chainsaw Charlie. Get out of my face.
But then, look, they finally acknowledged it.
That was one of my favorite props, just Chainsaw Charlie chainsaw. So, yeah. Dean Ambrose now owns Mick Foley's barbed wire bat and Chainsaw Charlie's chainsaw.
I wonder if he's going to, like, combine them together like Dead Rising.
Oh, my God, that would be so amazing.
He'll have a chainsaw barbed wire bat to use against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
It would work. It would seriously work. I can see that happening.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny how it's like a whole like hardcore like icons coming and passing the weapons over.
It's weird. It's like the three kings of like hardcore wrestling or something like that. We just need one more to show up before Mania. We got 13 days, so we're gonna need one more to give him another weapon.
There's still time. And the segment was funny at the end with Ambrose turning on the chainsaw. It looked like a kid sawing through the table. Yeah. I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah, sawing a table in the middle of a restaurant. Who gives a crap? It's Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, it was funny. And then he had a snoozer match against
Braun. And Paul Heyman, I believe, was on commentary, but it wasn't.
He couldn't even save that.
Yeah, there wasn't anything worth digesting or regurgitating back to you guys about that. But nonetheless, we're still excited for Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, because even the boring match, I mean, Ambrose got disqualified, but that's because he hit Strowman with a chair. And the end result is just him, like, going over to Heyman. And he's like, look what's in store for your guy. So without Brock Lesnar there, that's like the small, like, it's not even an advancement in story. This is totally like waiting period right now, but at least it's something.
Well, it's a waiting period to SmackDown because they're both going to be on SmackDown, so we'll see what happens this week.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there.
So that's pretty much it when it comes to Monday Night Raw and everything that's leading towards the road to WrestleMania. Not much story has been progressed, but whatever little they did progress, we wanted to share it with you guys. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about Shane McMahon. We're going to talk about one of the matches he had back in his wrestling career, since he is wrestling The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. So if you guys have never seen a Shane McMahon match, if you have the WWE Network, go and check one. We're going to talk about one right after the break.
You can catch Natal on 3 separate podcasts. Yes, 3. You can catch him on Fight Your Rival with Michael Andronico, Podcast Championship Wrestling with the other half of The Men of 2000 Holds, Steve, and So Says Natal Podcast. You can find all 3 podcasts on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher. And you can follow him on Twitter at SoSaysNatal1, on Instagram at SoSaysNatal, and on Facebook, facebook.com/SoSaysNatal. You can support any of the podcasts by sending your comments, questions, and suggestions to sosaysnatal@gmail.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe across all platforms. You have just been educated.
Welcome back to episode 34 of Podcast Championship Wrestling, hosted by the Podcast Tag Team Champions of the World, the Men of 2000 Holds. So like we said before the break, we're going to talk about Shane McMahon.
Yeah, why not?
And the match we decided to talk about is the match that he had with Shawn Michaels on Saturday night's main event, which was on March 18th of 2006. And this was a big deal because this was basically the return of Saturday night's main event, because the last one that aired was November 14th, 1992.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Almost 15 years.
That's a long game. I remember the 92 one. That was going into like the 92 Survivor Series.
I remember it, yeah. And
I think that's the one where Shawn Michaels beats British Bulldog for the IC title.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And Bret Hart fights Papa Shango in the main event.
Oh, I think you're... Oh, yeah.
He defends his title.
I'm so mad Papa Shango's not going into the Hall of Fame.
Whatever. Papa Shango doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
You think Godfather deserves to be in the Hall of Fame?
No,
okay, so I'd rather have Papa Shango.
No, I'd rather have Godfather just because he had a little bit more longevity.
Then I'd rather have Nation of Domination going there.
Just the whole faction. And
all of them. Why not?
We're on our way.
Yeah, let's get funky. Let's talk about the Saturday night main event match.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
No, you don't. Yeah, you do. You totally want to talk about the match.
I do want to talk about the match. I think it's cool, too, because, I mean, we're going to give some history and stuff, but the truth was, like, we wanted to talk about a Shane McMahon match, but we didn't want to talk about the ones that, like, everyone's seen a million times, like the Kurt Angle one at King of the Ring, or the Vince McMahon one at WrestleMania 17. They're all really good matches, but, like, you've seen them a lot, and they've been talked about to death, so it was really just, like, let's just randomly find a Shane McMahon match, because this was around the time neither of us were really actively watching it.
No, not at all.
But it turned out to be a pretty fun match, and like the stuff going into it was pretty cool too.
Yeah. So if you guys are wondering what's going on at this time, this Saturday night's main event actually happens 2 weeks before WrestleMania 22. Oh. And at WrestleMania 22, we're getting Shawn Michaels versus Vince McMahon. But before he decides to fight Vince forces him to fight his son Shane in a street fight. But there's a lot of things that Vince was doing during this time, which I don't remember, like you said, because we really weren't watching wrestling at this time, that he was doing to Michaels to make his life a living hell. You know, good old Vince style. Mm-hmm. And some of the things he did was some of the things Vince McMahon did was throw a retirement party for Shawn Michaels, made him join the Kiss My Ass Club.
I hate that.
I hate that thing too. Yeah, I was never a big fan of that. And one more thing was he forced him to do a public drug test. So these are pretty embarrassing things that Vince was making.
Humiliating things.
This is the guy who, won the wrestle. This is the guy who carried the WWE, in the late 90s with the rest of the roster. He was big. He was a showstopper, the icon, Mr. WrestleMania.
Mr. WrestleMania, like all these big names. Mm-hmm. Like he's basically a big deal.
He's a big deal. Now you got him kissing your ass and doing drug tests.
It
is what it is. I mean, later on, Vince McMahon teams up Shawn Michaels with God and fights him.
Oh man, that's so great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I love the bit in that where he drinks the holy water in the church and then spits it out Triple H style. Yeah. That makes me die of laughter every single time.
And I think the representation of God as a spotlight was actually pretty good. Yeah, I was like, that's a pretty good way to represent something like that. But back to
we gotta talk about that match one day.
Yeah, it was one day we will. One day we will cover that match. That match is well worth it. So let's get into the meat and potatoes, the actual fight of what's going on in the street fight. So remember, street fights, no rules, no disqualifications, pinfall and submissions, the only way you're going to win.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like what we're going to get with Ambrose and Lesnar.
Exactly. So this is another reason why I decided to pick this match, because not only is Shane McMahon not only is Shane McMahon in the match, but also the stipulations for this match is the same stipulations for a match for this year's Mania.
And it's 2 weeks before WrestleMania. Yeah. Look at how well we thought this episode out, people. Yeah.
This is WrestleMania 32. This is WrestleMania 22 we're talking about.
Oh, look. I didn't even realize that until now, but you knew that. I'm sure you knew that.
I already knew that. I mean, if you would have jumped in the TARDIS with me that last time, you would have figured that one out.
Oh, yeah, I had work, so I couldn't.
Yeah, I know. You got to do what you got to do. But back to the match. The beginning of the match, super brutal. They're both automatically attacking each other. Shane McMahon didn't even get to finish his intro. Shawn Michaels ran out of the ring and started attacking him right at the Titantron.
Yeah, I always kind of like that in Matt. Like, they've been building this up as, like, a big heated thing with him and Vince. So it always helps add to believability, where it's like, I'm not even going to wait for you to get to the ring. Yeah. And there's no rules in this match.
Yeah, why not? It's a street fight. We might as well, take it literal.
Yeah, and, like, it started off like fast paced, really like breaking out the weapons early and stuff, like throwing them into the outside of the ring and stuff like that.
Shane McMahon was actually picking up Shawn Michaels and just ramming his back perpetually, continuously into the ring post. And I'm like, the match just started. Mm-hmm. You guys are doing 6-7 minute match things, and this is like the first 45 seconds in, and you're already slamming Shawn Michaels back into the ring post, which is smart because we all know Shawn Michaels has a bad back. Yeah. That's why he retired and everything like that. So working on the back is fantastic. It's a great story. It shows Shane McMahon did his homework. He was ready for this match.
Mm-hmm. And at the time, Jim Ross was the main guy calling it, so of course he's telling that story.
Yeah, so well. I love unfiltered Jim Ross around that 2006 era. He was actually fantastic, calling him the spawn of Satan or the seed of the devil, which I thought was just great.
Really vilifying Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm. And while Jim Ross is vilifying Vince McMahon with his venomous words, Shawn Michaels is too busy doing a superplex off a ladder with Shane McMahon to the outside, and they crashed through 2 tables, which was nuts. It was the first big spot of the match, and it was about, 3-4 minutes in?
Yeah, something like that. Something really early in the match. Shane had done the post shots with Shawn, and then sets up 2 tables, like side by side with each other.
Vince tries to hold Shawn down.
Yeah, because Shane is initially going to jump off the ladder onto Shawn through the tables, and Shawn's able to fight through it. fights up and delivers like a really good suplex.
Very clean.
Off that ladder. And oh man, it's a sight.
And yeah, they cut to commercial break at that time. They called the paramedics in. By the time came back from commercial, paramedics were gone.
Oh yeah.
And Shane McMahon...
Shawn's not having that.
Yeah, no. Shane McMahon was continuing working on Shawn's back. Made him look real strong, hitting him with the ladder repeatedly, multiple times on the back. Then putting him in just stretches, just stretching his back, knee in the back, pulling his arms back.
Yeah, like that went on for a little bit, but I mean, they'd cut like a really fast pace and they were doing a lot of high impact stuff earlier. So like, I was fine with the fact that like, he's had this on maybe a little bit longer than I'd like, but Shane's not a full-time wrestler. And just, they'd cut like a brutal pace prior. So it's like, all right, I'll sit through this arm stretch a little bit longer.
Not only that, but it helps with the backstory. Like I said, like you said before, Jim Ross, he's saying it and helping it, and actually giving it some validity why he's constantly working on the back. The spot doesn't look as boring. It has some logic to it.
Yeah, so because the commentators are actually telling that story as opposed to talking to me about a hashtag or arguing amongst themselves.
Yeah, arguing about some type of TV reference that one of them screwed up as of late. But anyway, let's get back to this match. Not only do we have Shane McMahon beating Michaels with a ladder, Shane McMahon decides to go for one of his spots, like his high spot that we've seen before and loved.
The old Van Terminator, or like when he does it, I think they call it coast to coast.
Coast to coast, yeah.
But it's still an impressive looking spot. Sets up a trash can in front of Shawn's face, and Vince is holding...
Thankfully.
Vince is holding it. Well, actually, no. The announcers are like, Vince is holding the trash can, but Shawn's holding the trash can. Vince is holding Shawn.
Yeah.
Either way, it just kind of makes sense. He's holding him for it. And Shane, again, dives off and is able to clear that jump, which is always super nuts.
It's from ring post to ring post, people, if you don't understand. That's a far jump.
Yeah, that's a really... I think it's, like 20...
it's 20 feet, I believe.
Yeah,
it's 20 by 20,
crazy.
I think the ring is.
I mean, granted, the ladder... Granted, the garbage can helps cut down some of that distance because that's all what he really has to hit. But whatever, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's impressive as all hell. But Shawn is resilient and he's able to move, and that's where the tide turns, and it starts to pick up again because like now Shawn's getting his comeback, and you get your Shawn Michaels spots, which are always kind of fun.
Yeah,
like
your diving elbow off the top rope. Not only that, but Vince McMahon gets the trash can to the face. He ends up eating it, which is pretty cool.
And it's pretty fun because Vince is like near the camera, so every now and again when they cut to him, the trash talking Vince is doing in the match is pretty fun.
Great. He's like, break him, break his arm, break him. You're a McMahon.
Yeah, that's what I like. You're a McMahon. It's fun. It's crazy how much a decade changes things. Because back here for this match, it's like, Vince and Shane are working together for a common cause.
Fast forward 10 years later, son of mine, you're a son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's like, what did he say? My greatest creation is going to finally take care of my greatest failure. And crushes a photo of his son. Like, come on.
It's so good.
I love it. Vince is fantastic. But let's rewind back to 2006 in this match. So Luis said, Shawn Michaels got the elbow. Boom. He lands one of the craziest super kicks. It looks so good.
Yeah.
And it had such a good pop on Shane's forehead.
And Shane sold it really well.
And it was one of those false finishes that you gasped and you thought Shawn Michaels won. And almost at the count of 3, the ref gets pulled out by good old Vince McMahon.
Yeah. Which is normally a finish I kind of hate, but I get it for this match. And I like that. Also, this match wasn't the attraction. It's built up for, their match at WrestleMania, so it makes sense. But then they basically redo the Montreal Screwjob.
Yeah, which
that's
is
where
great.
This Saturday night's main event was.
And I love that. I love the ending. I thought it was a funny way to end it. And if you guys aren't familiar with the Montreal Screwjob is, shame, know your name. We're not going to tell you what it is. Look it up. But the way they got to that was Shawn Michaels got mad, pulled Vince into the ring, was bothering him. Shane O'Mac goes for a low blow, puts Shawn Michaels in the sharpshooter. Vince rolls outside and screams at the bell keeper to ring the bell, you son of a bitch, and forces poor Lillian to say the winner of the match due to submission is Shane McMahon.
Yeah, and she says it in I'm sorry, but in a very awful, confused kind of style. So, is Shane McMahon? How dumb? Exactly what he's doing. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
But I mean, it works, and it's 8 years at that point after Montreal, so it hadn't gotten to the point yet where it's just I'm sick and tired of all these Montreal references. And it worked since they're in Montreal.
And also it worked because Shawn Michaels was the one who screwed Brett, so now Shawn Michaels got screwed by McMahon.
Yeah. So no way as high profile as Brett or real.
No, exactly. Yeah, this was just This was a dramatization of a real event, pretty much.
But the match was really fun.
Yeah,
it's
it was
like
fun.
10 minutes, 12 minutes or whatever. But you get to... Shane doesn't do the crazy stuff like jump off the scaffoldings and stuff, but I think that's actually cool because that's what he's remembered for, and that, for the most part, that's really all I remember from Shane McMahon.
I remember him going through that glass at King of the Ring that he wasn't supposed to go through.
No, he was supposed to go through it. The problem was it didn't break so many times, and then the last time he threw him through it finally broke. But yeah, you always remember crazy stuff like that. But watching the match, it's like, yeah, Shane sold really well because he doesn't look like a pro wrestler. So like when he gets tired, it's really believable.
Yeah,
I felt like just watching a Shane McMahon match. It's just like, yeah, I really feel it. He got a little shiner in the match too, which kind of helped the story. But yeah, that's kind of what I took away from the match. Was just like I forgot how good Shane was at selling, and he was just athletic. It was a fun match that we kind of like picked out of nowhere, and I figured it was just either going to be a complete throwaway or we were going to like not even be able to use it. Yeah. But it was a fun match, and you know, if you have the WWE Network, just go out of your way, watch it.
So don't forget, if you want to catch that match, WWE Network, Saturday night's main event, 2006, March 18th, Shane McMahon versus Shawn Michaels in a street fight, and we can't vouch for the rest of the card of that main event. Watch it if you like. I don't remember what's going on. Some stuff's happening, but that's the match to watch.
It's worth it for the suplex spot alone, and it's pretty early in the match too. So it's like it's not even super going out of your way for it.
Yeah, you don't even have to watch the complete thing. Just watch the beginning. Watch that amazing spot with the tables and the suplex.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So before we close out episode 34 of Podcast Championship Wrestling, we're going to go over the card. Card subject to change. So this might not really happen, but as of right now, this is what's going to happen on this Friday when we go to Madison Square Garden to see WWE's house show.
Yeah, man. If a couple things change here and there from the card that they have written down, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I'd be fine with it. So let's see. First match on the card I see is Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus Triple H and Sheamus.
That should be fun. Yeah. I mean, we know it's a house show. It's not going to be anything crazy, but it should be entertaining. It'll be cool for you because you're a big Triple H fan and you haven't seen him since like your teen years.
Oh, yeah. And the last time I saw him, I met him at, I can't even remember the place anymore. It was one of those video places that don't even exist anymore.
Yeah, like probably
I think it was Suncoast or something like that. Something like, or FMV? Or
FYE?
FYE. It was FYE, Triple H. I got his autograph. I asked him if he was going to beat Kane. He said yes. I went to the Garden and he lost. He lied to me. He lied to my damn face. But I still love him because he's the game. He was playing the game and I lost. I lost the game. He beat me that time. But hopefully he wins. I get to see him live with the world title. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, you're probably going to lose your mind for that moment.
I'm going to be happy. I will be cheering.
And I'm going to be drunk and just giving you the dirtiest looks.
Because you can't scream as loud as I am and you want to show your love for Triple H as much as I do.
No, it's because I got to save my voice for Roman Reigns when he comes out.
Yeah, don't say that. That is lies. Next, what you're going to save your voice for is the next match on the card, which is Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles in an Intercontinental Championship match.
Oh, no, that's the match where I blow out my voice because that'll happen before the tag match. This should be cool. This was, the match that we kind of initially wanted to see at WrestleMania. It'll probably be some kind of thing like, Owens gets DQ'd or whatever, but hopefully we get 10, 12 minutes of a fun match.
I want to see them perform because granted the matches on SmackDown and Raw as of late, they were both interrupted and we didn't really get anything. I hope this one, since it's a house show and they don't need a progressed story in any way, shape, or form, don't interrupt this match. Let there just be a clear winner or something.
And it'll just be cool. It's AJ Styles. Like we've seen Kevin Owens before, but I mean, I've seen AJ Styles once actually at a TNA live event at the Brooklyn Cyclone Stadium. I got to see him fight RVD.
Okay,
and it was a pretty fun match, but it was like that era where RVD was kind of like moving in slow motion. So as fun as it was just kind of like, this could be better. But it's kind of cool. Like the two times I've seen AJ Styles who have been in the ring with like guys that I really like. I'm looking forward to this match with Kevin Owens.
The next match I hope you're looking forward to also, it is Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio versus Ryback. It's a triple threat match for the United States title.
You know what? That match will actually probably be fun.
I'm just happy to see Del Rio.
Yeah, Del Rio's cool. Kalisto's fun. I mean, Ryback in a match with the two of those can serve his purpose.
Yes.
And again, it's a live event, so I'm not going to be sober in the least, so it's all just kind of fun. But I think the three of them can put together a pretty cool spectacle.
Next one we got is Demon Kane, who I didn't know was still around, and Big Show versus Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family.
Yeah, that's the one where I'm just like, I don't care. It'll be cool to see Wyatt's entrance. Yes. I want to, put the phone down.
I want to be a Firefly, and that's about it.
Yeah, that'll kind of be it. That'll probably be like the bathroom break match.
The next one is the Usos versus the New Day versus the Dudley Boys in a triple threat match for the tag team title. So it's cool. You can see the Dudleys.
Yeah, that should be fun. I mean, The Dudleys will be in heel form, so, you know, the smack talk and shit. I mean, we probably won't even hear it, but, you know. Just
hopefully Bubba Ray will scream loud enough for us to hear.
He's got the mouth,
Yeah,
man.
he does.
But it should be a lot of fun. I like the Dudleys as heel, so it'll be cool to see them work together. And yeah, again, triple threat, so that'll be a lot of fun.
And I say the best for last because why wouldn't I? And it's Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz.
God, I don't want to see this.
Well, come on. They're going for the IC title at Mania. They must be important, yeah?
I don't care. Give me one of those random ones where it's like, oh, Fandango fought Jack Swagger. Like, I'd rather take that over Dolph Ziggler.
I want to see, like... I would rather see, like, Zack Ryder versus R-Truth. But I want Ryder to go over. He has to go over.
I want to see Ryback versus R-Truth.
Why? The back truth?
I can go get beer. You can go look at merch. Like, that's the match I want on the card. No, it's a house show. You don't got to go. You're not going to buy merch.
No merch.
Whatever. You're going to be leaving with a unicorn hair.
Probably.
Kevin Owens shorts.
Maybe.
And another title.
Yep. And
you're going to have a title for your shoulder and a title for your waist and some what?
Some trades, some comic books if they sell them.
Look at that. You'll see if they have the old Chaos Comic Undertaker comics.
Yeah, so, I have those still, actually. That's nuts.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I still have them. And I think the Stone Cold ones. Did Stone Cold have a comic?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, I have it.
Didn't like I think
Mankind had one also.
Yeah, whatever. Those I actually didn't buy.
Yeah, I actually bought those. And don't ask me how they are. I never read them.
Warrior
had a comic too.
Yeah, but we made the mistake of reading that. Yeah, that was awful.
That was
but it should be a lot of fun. I mean, again, anytime you go to these live events, they're always a lot of fun. And even though, like, going into a house show, like, oh, nothing big's gonna happen, you're still entertained by the stuff that goes on in the ring. It's not like they just go through the motions.
Yeah, Kevin Nash is not gonna be Bob Backlund for the WWE title anytime soon at a house show. So,
and again, it should be cool the whole Daniel Bryan night thing. No matter, like, regardless of what it is. I think a couple of years ago they had a Hulk Hogan one, and they just played like a video package. You kind of like came out, talked, and they raised like a banner for Hulk Hogan, which, like, when the event was over, the Garden took that down. They're like, get that out of here.
Keeping this crap.
I mean, even if they do something stupid like that, like, it'll be cool.
Yeah, that'd be fine. I'll be down with that.
Yeah. Also, like, it's the reason why we decided to go. Otherwise, we were like, no, that's fine. We could skip a house show.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Just the name, the road to WrestleMania. So it's like, this is on our way. Like, it's really about to show up.
And we also do it for you guys out there in the podcast world. We go to these live events, and then we could come back and tell you how amazing they were.
Yeah, that's exactly why we do it.
Because they don't host these on the WWE Network all the time. This isn't Roadblock. This isn't Beast in the East. This is just Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, just some MSG house show, which is essentially Roadblock.
Yeah, it is. So me and Steve are going to continue driving down this road to WrestleMania. Next week, we will catch up with you guys and tell you how close we are and what do we think of the trip so far. Maybe we'll take some pictures. Maybe we'll share them on that Instagram. You know what it is. I'm not going to repeat it again. This is the end of episode 34 of Podcast Championship Wrestling. Thank you guys so much out there for taking your time and listening to this podcast. I am Natal saying goodbye for Steve. And remember, we have 2,000 more than you.
The winners of this match, and still PCW Tag Team Champions, the men of 2,000 holds, Natal and Steve!
We're going to talk about Shane McMahon.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Why not? And the reason why, come on, smack him.
You got mad defensive.
Why not?